Stavros Tousios for M4Markets. We're going to have a quick look at pound and Bitcoin today. We are revisiting pounds. We have had a move to the upside as we anticipated, and we have received a rejection at the bottom of this channel, which means this is assumed to be a correction now, and there is a new low that is expected to be reached here. Now, where that goes, of course, the first very obvious target is down at 118.40. Okay, but at the same time, let's not forget that the moment we do actually cross below that low, we are going to get a hidden bullish divergence. Okay, so that is going to be invalidated only when the RSI goes to this same oversold territory here down around 1980. So for now, we are also above 23, and it's very likely in the near term that we're going to see this level revisited. Okay, we're of course on the 4-hour. Maybe this is going to happen on an intraday basis, or maybe we have to wait for a little bit longer. But the main point here being is that we have received rejection and started moving lower down, and we'll do this in a 5-wave manner. So far it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Typically markets will move in 5 waves, so it is actually likely that we're going to see a bounce at the bottom, maybe a weak attempt, maybe a false break below that low, but then it's likely that we see something like this happening and taking place. Right now, if we make that assumption, we should be looking for anywhere between the 38 and 62, 120.77 and 121.50 for a potential correction, right? But for now, we still look like we need to do one more leg to the downside anyway before a better upside correction starts. We are now also in a corrective leg over here, which may or may have not finished, and that of course means that we could move higher before we go lower, or we could just first move lower and then do the better correction to the upside. Okay. Now, when it comes to BTC, you have probably noticed that it spiked like about 10% yesterday or so. Looking at the longer term stuff and on the 4-hour, look from up to the all-time high and down to the low over here. We haven't even reached the 23 Fibonacci as of yet, right? But this move to the upside, it's so far looking impulsive. Okay, and as I was just saying, for BTC, for pounds, markets moving 5 waves. We have literally done technically the 5th wave now, but if we use the typical sort of Fibonacci relationships, and we're going to use the net distance between this move and the correction down here, this is only the 38 extension, right, at 24.75. The next level is up to 26.82, and then you have the 23 Fibonacci to take into account. We do have, of course, a very big level at the previous swing low here and high at the same time, right, at around 25.50 or so, which is 30, which is very likely to be reached even today, to be fair. And from there, we could potentially see some sort of correction taking place, because as I was just saying earlier, like the 5th wave is in, and typically when that happens, we see corrections and then further continuations. So the short term, although it looks like, oh look, we might just break out further up, and that might be the case. Of course, we have there is more chances to see a bigger downside rather than a bigger upside at the moment. This is what it looks like from a technical perspective. At the same time, we do have a divergence here, okay? And only if this divergence breaks, which means the RSI going up to 93, we might be able to see further continuation to the upside. But until that happens, actually, there is more likelihood for a downside leg, and then we're going to see a much bigger move to the upside, where this is expected, of course, to go closer to the 35 territory or so. I've drawn an accelerated channel here, which means connecting the peaks rather than the troughs, and we came right at the median line and we received rejection. The truth is, though, that if this is indeed like the case, we ought to see one more leg to the upside, perhaps, right? And then probably start doing a bigger correction.